trying to communicate with someone that you do not understand his language could indeed be a great challenge. And why did I say so? Because you need to understand the norms, the best practices in such a language. Perhaps it could be compared to walking into a dark room, you can't see anything. If you are not careful, you could just be stepping on some toes. Indeed, sign language, like every other language, has its own principles, rules, regulations, and guidelines. If you do not understand this very carefully, you will not be able to use sign language effectively. Hi guys, my name is John Bamidele, one of the instructors with the iSign community. I want to encourage all of you to stay tuned with us and stay with us throughout the entire video series so you can get the best of learning sign language. So I'm going to be explaining three very important points in learning sign language. We're going to be looking at speech reading first. So what is speech reading? It's actually the ability to understand the oral language or speech of a person by observing the movement of the person's lips or his facial expression. The concept of speaking or forming words on the lips is emphasized to a much larger extent today than it was in the early days of sign language, when speech was not really part of deaf child's training. But we do know that bringing up a deaf child using speech has become a normal thing today. So it means that it's very important for a sign language interpreter or a person who is producing signs include the use of his lips, his face, facial movement, and lip movement in communicating the spoken word so that the signs can be very clear. And when people actually do sign and fingerspell alongside speaking or forming the English words on the lip, this is indeed called simultaneous method of communication. Just only about 40% of sounds in English language can be seen on the lips of a speaker. Some words, however, cannot be read. For example, the words bop, mop, pop all sound the same. So it's very difficult to read all of that off my lips actually. A reader can be able to see only maybe 4 to 5 words in 12-word sentence. Signers are always cautioned, however, not to engage in exaggerated mouthing or words or talk very loudly. And this can make speech reading very hard. It's important also to talk in a normal way and look directly at the face of the deaf person. Now, for you to understand this concept I just spoke about, you are going to see 2 different videos. The first one is not what we are talking about, but the other one will explain it more. Watch. The signer signed without movement of his lips, and that will indeed make it very difficult for anyone to understand what he's signing. Watch the second video. Here, he ensures that he applies the concept we have just talked about. Watch. You notice that the signer actually used the concept we had just discussed. He used the lips in addition with the signs, and that makes it clear and easy for anyone who perhaps may not even understand the signs clearly to eke out or bring out something from what the signer has produced. We will now be discussing another concept, and that is number 2, facial expression and body movement. So just what is facial expression and body movement? It always reflects the emotion of the signer. Sometimes it could show happiness or sadness. When the body feels sag, the person perhaps is weak or tired of something. And when you see indication of strong cause, maybe for show of strength or expression, the facial expression or the body movement will indeed demonstrate this also. It involves, throwing your shoulder, sometimes cuffed up, or stand out, chest out sometimes. And sometimes you have to physically move your body one side or the other side to show movement or positioning of individuals you are trying to mimic while you are signing or interpreting. Some studies have shown that deaf persons do not focus so much on reading each other's hands as much as they do reading the face and the overall body language actually. Now, to illustrate facial expression and body movement, you are going to watch this two-part video. The first part is the wrong one. Now, watch. In the video, the signer signed, "I am very tired," without using any form of facial expression or body movement. And that is not fine. Now let's watch the second video, the signer using this concept that has just been explained. The signer was able to use facial expression and body movement while signing, "I am very tired." So now we are talking about speed, motion, and force of signs. Well, a sign can be made slowly or with speed. It can be static or sometimes have motion. Sometimes you could make it a bit gentle or with some force. The sign of beautiful sometimes takes on different shades of meaning when facial expression is added. The size, strength, and feeling that are added to it indicates different degrees. The spoken equivalent of the sign then will be one of the following. For example, lovely, pretty, attractive, beautiful, or gorgeous. All of these are different variants of using speed and force to your signs. You see, the speed of sign also influences its meaning. For example, when you sign the word hurry, is more rapidly indicated by saying, "Hurry, we're leaving now," than perhaps saying, "Don't hurry, we have plenty of time." The speed will be different because the first one makes you rush out. The other one, you are more relaxed because you still have some time. When you want to talk about maybe a child is growing up, the speed is different. Perhaps when you are trying to explain that perhaps a child grew up overnight, as if surprised that you've grown up. The speed of grow up is different from when you're just explaining grow. Oh, well, you don't have to be bothered about all of those signs. These are years of experience of signing. You are just starting. And indeed, you are starting on a good note. As you gradually learn sign language, you'll become more efficient even much more than your instructors. Truly, we want to thank you very much for staying on to this point in this video. And we encourage all of you to please visit the isignCommunity.org website, where you can freely donate, because the work we do is purely voluntary and at no cost to you. So it comes as free donations from persons who love to support the cause, and we can be sure that if you support us, you can get much more. Many more persons can learn sign language. I want to also mention that you please try to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click like and subscribe. Yeah, just to tell you briefly about See Here Initiative, an NGO that has been a very strong supporter of the iSign community. We care for the needs of deaf and blind in the community. We take care of livelihood, their health, and education, our core focus for them. Please take your time and visit our website, www.shi.ngo. There you can also subscribe and put your name as one of our volunteers to support our cause also. Thank you again for watching, and hope to see you next time.